What's poppin'? JinBop here, coming today with some tweets I will be reading. I asked for you guys for a couple of things on Twitter to, talk about. I'm a terrible conversationalist. Have I mentioned this? If I haven't, well, now you know. So a couple of you guys asked me some questions. I want to answer them here today, but before I start, I thought I'd point out that I have this awesome little Fire Emblem Path of Radiance display here. A little story behind this, actually. There's a retro game shop that's here in Seattle that sells a lot of, old games, used games, and stuff like that, and they have this on display, and I was like, I have to have that. So I practically begged them to sell it to me, and, well, eventually they called their manager and they let me have it for a decently hefty sum. But you know what? It was worth it because it's one of the few like it in existence. The Fire Emblem, I feel the Fire Emblem just, Anyways, let's go ahead and get into some tweets. The first one here is from Volk, who says, if you're going to VidCon, what's the first thing you do? The first thing I do, I truthfully do not really know, because I don't really know what's at VidCon. I've never been. So one thing that people should probably keep in mind is I am still a relatively inexperienced YouTuber. I've not done stuff on my own for very long. It's in fact less than a year. And I've never really gone to any conventions. The only one that I've really gone to so far on my own time is PAX East. I had a great time there, and I think the coolest stuff to do there was to try out all the new games and to meet new people. Meeting people especially because I don't really talk with a lot of other YouTubers simply because I don't know really what to say because I'm socially awkward. But if there's anything I've learned about YouTube so far, it's that we're all pretty socially awkward, and that's fine. But I would say probably make a couple of new friends because I don't want to get too gushy here, but truthfully, YouTube is the best thing that's ever happened to my life. The community around it, the kind of people involved in it, being able to do what I love for a community that's absolutely awesome is something that I can't imagine ever letting go of. Making friends, man. Making friends. It's what's made me so happy so far. So, it's not something I ever intend to stop doing. I love absolutely everyone in this field, and I would like to get to know more of them. Translation being, I wish I had friends. Alright, this next one is from Tay, who says, is there anything exciting coming up in the near future that we can look out for? I can't really say for sure what is going to be coming up because I don't know, but I guarantee if something new comes up, it'll be an idea that I really want to do. One idea I've wanted to enact for a really long time was to try and do series with someone where we sit down and we do a full playthrough of the game and it's more banter oriented. There's a lot of channels that are sort of focused around two people just talking. A couple examples that come to mind are Yogscast, Two Best Friends Play, or as you guys know, one of my major inspirations, the Game Grumps. Unfortunately, that means that I have to make a friend in order to do that, and I unfortunately just don't have any. So I can't really tell you to look forward to this or look forward to that. Just hang around and maybe something cool will pop up. I don't know. Let's just say that videos will be coming up on my channel. That's exciting, right? Alright, this next one is from Queen of Evil 14, who says, if you could be any character from any cartoon universe, what show and character would you be? Hands down, Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. Okay, let's just weigh the awesome parts of it. A, you're an alcoholic who just doesn't give a fuck. B, you get to travel through all sorts of different realities and dimensions and parallel universes and galaxies, and you get to see all this cool stuff. C, you're a genius. You're a genius and you can make practically anything that you want. The thing about Rick Sanchez is he's awesome and he knows it. And I actually love the Rick and Morty cartoons. So if I could choose any, that's number one at the top of my list right now. I mean, I guess that means I'd have to deal with a Morty, but you know what? It's worth it. Oh gosh, Rick, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Yeah, you don't know anything, Morty. I know, my impressions are terrible. Shut up. Music is my life asks, what's your favorite curse word? Oh man, that's a good one. I curse all the time, so I'm not really sure if I could select one and just be like, yeah, this is my favorite. I don't know if I really have a favorite, since I just sort of use them all depending on what context I'm in. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and change that, and I'm gonna say there is one phrase that I quite like. It's not in English, this is actually a foreign swear word, but if you go to Hong Kong, or if you speak Cantonese, sometimes they'll say "pukkai." Pukkai, as far as I can understand, means go out into the fucking street and just die. Or something like that. I don't speak Cantonese, so I wouldn't know. But I first found out about this when I was playing Sleeping Dogs, and I just heard it everywhere. Pukkai. I don't know why. It's just so awesome to me. Ever since I found out about a pukkai, I love it. I wish I had more opportunities to say it, but it makes sense to almost no one. And to the few people it does make sense to, I'd probably offend them. Alright, next one's from Demi/Tigerwolf, who says, be true about this one. What are your thoughts since you started YouTube? That's kind of a general and broad question, and I don't really know how to answer that. My general thoughts about YouTube itself is, well, again, it's the best thing that's ever happened to my life. I love what I do, and I love all the people who are involved in the stuff that I do. That's not to say there aren't some parts that don't suck about it, but I would say ultimately the good outweighs the bad. But Jin, what could possibly suck about doing YouTube? It's actually a pretty good follow-up question, and I guess I'll answer that one in its stead. I don't know what it is about doing YouTube, but the moment you become an entity on someone else's screen, you're sort of not a person anymore. It's a lot easier to think of a YouTube personality or a YouTuber as just sort of this entity that exists on the internet and not a human being. At least that's sort of the way it feels sometimes, because don't get me wrong, you guys are wonderful and I love you, and you guys have given me nothing but respect since the moment I've started posting my first video. But sometimes I do get some responses that are a little questionable. It's hard to really pinpoint certain things that bug me without sounding mean, but I think one of the most common examples is probably something you guys have seen over the course of the last several months on my channel. It's everyone telling me to go back to the offices, to record with this or that YouTuber. And I guess there's nothing really wrong with that. It's just that it's sort of demanding me to do stuff that I wouldn't normally want to do otherwise. And that's not the reason I created this channel. It also sometimes makes me feel like I'm thought of less as a person simply because, well, screw what you like and what you do and what you post. We want you to do the things that we like because we're your audience. I guess I sort of understand that to an extent, but ultimately that's not why I'm here on YouTube. I want to create things that I'm proud of creating. And if I were to compromise on that, then what's the point of this channel? Don't get me wrong, it doesn't really bother me that much. Ultimately, I'm going to end up creating whatever it is I feel like creating anyways. But sometimes I just do see comments like that, and I do think, well, it sucks that people don't see things this way, but that's just the world for you. I understand, and not everyone's always going to see things the way that I do. As long as you guys think I'm funny, that's the only thing I care about. I mean, one of us has to find me funny, right? Right? Either way, I'm going to predict there's going to be several comments asking me, how come you're not filming with Sky anymore? How come you're not back in the offices? I think that's what bugs me the most, simply because I feel like I've answered that question, but nobody seems to listen. So if you see a comment like that on this video, that's how you know this person didn't watch the video. Always really easy to pinpoint who's paying attention and who's not. Next one's from Court saying, what made you want to get into YouTube? I feel like I've sort of answered this one before as well, although I can't remember. But I've said this, I know, before. I've wanted to be an entertainer for quite a long time. I don't know what it is, but I posted a video back in 2008 on another channel, which I'm not going to disclose the name of because I don't want you guys to see it. But I think that was sort of the moment where I realized that media is something that I want to do. I don't know what in particular, but I was thinking about acting. I was thinking about just making movies. I wanted to create video. Video was such an interesting medium to me, and I felt like there's so much that you could do with it that I wanted to work in that field and make all these possibilities happen. I'll be real with you, the thought of becoming a YouTuber didn't even cross my mind until I started up this channel, so at least it all came together, right? It's not really like a thing that people fall into thinking, yes, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, yes, I want to become, you know, this public figure. That's not how it happens. Truth be told, I just wanted to create, and I feel like that's how every YouTuber gets started. Nobody comes into YouTube with the intention of becoming a celebrity, becoming famous or rich or any of that stuff, because that's not what this medium is ultimately about. I've loved making stupid little things and sharing them with my friends and family for as long as I can remember. That's what makes me happy. It's what makes me feel complete as a person, and it's my passion. YouTube allows me simply to take that to the next level. I don't think it's any different from the things I've been doing with my life over the last 10 years. Which I sort of want to address this because this makes no sense to me, but sometimes, like, people make accusations like, oh, YouTubers only do it for the money, man. Okay, to a number of us, this is our job, and I think that's fine. The real question I have is, why didn't we just go look for a traditional job instead, which is A, less stressful, B, less time consuming, C, easier to learn, D, easier to be successful at, and E, probably pays more. But I don't know, people on the internet will make up all sorts of silly random stuff just to make other people look bad for whatever reason. This one is from the Wolfcraft, who asks, will this question be in this video? No! Oh, you guys are absolute fun sometimes. Alright, this last one's from Assassin Man, who says, what's your favorite game to play whenever you're bored? Truth be told, I do love Fire Emblem, but there's also just so many games that I just love. I just play games. I'm not really sure if there's a particular favorite that I would go to. The thing is, I love gaming as a whole, so I like to experience gaming as a whole. So when I'm bored, maybe sometimes I'll play Fire Emblem. Maybe sometimes I'll play Ratchet and Clank. I'll replay a Metal Gear Solid game, or I'll check out some of the newer titles out there. I just like games. Like, let's say you read books a lot, and maybe you do have a favorite book, but when you're bored or you want a book to read, it's not always necessarily that book or your favorite book. You're just willing to read whatever looks good because you want to experience different things, different storylines, meet different characters. And I feel like that's the same thing with me and video games. I'm also bored a lot, so I can't spend all of that time playing Fire Emblem. I have to play something else. I'm just a fucking nerd, man. I'm just a fucking nerd. I don't know how else to say it. And I have to say, this nerd is very, very thankful that there are so many guys out there that are willing to see me just sit in front of a camera and talk. Regardless of whether there's a game going on in the background or not, the fact that you guys are here, the fact that you guys have supported my channel for so long means the world to me, so thank you guys all so much for it. I'm always so bad at doing these thank yous because I'm so not good at piecing together language. What I'm trying to say is videos like this are important to me because it gives me a chance to connect with you guys, not as a YouTuber, but as a human being. And I feel like that's what matters the most. That's what's important to me, and that's what's meaningful to me on this channel, and I can't give you guys enough thanks for giving me the opportunity to let me explore all of it. So to every loyal JinVader out there, thank you guys so much for everything. And to everyone else, well, also I guess including the JinVaders, if you like this video, pop that like button, and I will see you next time.